Hello class. Today we are going to welcome to our today's class. We are going to learn about teaching aids, and in our case we are going to learn about puppets. We are going to define what are teaching aids. The importance of teaching aids, qualities of teaching aids. We are going to define what a puppet is, the advantages and disadvantages of puppets. Teaching aids are things or material used in teaching learners for better understanding. For example, we use charts, dioramas, pictures for better understanding. Now we are going to look at the importance of teaching aids. Teaching aids motivates learners so that they can learn better by taking part when they touch them. When you bring these teaching aids to class and you give these learners chance to interact with them, it will motivate them to learn more and better. Next, it provides direct experience to learners. You see, you've heard of first-hand information and such. So if you bring these teaching aids to class, the learners will have direct experience. And then we go next. It makes class lively and active. When you bring these things, even the pupils or students or learners will make the class lively because it is a new experience to them. Next we go, it facilitates proper understanding to learners and discourages cramming. When you bring these teaching aids to class, and then when you ask a question, the learner will remember because they have used their sensory learning like sight. So when they use them, it discourages cramming. There will be no cramming because when you bring a question, they will remember what they saw. And then the teacher clarifies subject matter more easily by using different sorts of teaching aids. As we were defining, we said we have different types of teaching aids like charts, dioramas. So it will clarify the teacher's subject matter easily because when we use those different teaching aids, the students will understand more and better. Next, we look at the qualities of teaching aids. The teaching aids should be large enough and attractive to be seen by the learners. So when we make these teaching aids, we should make them to be large enough and attractive by using maybe different colors. Like mostly we use the 3 colors: red, yellow, and blue. And then they are simple, cheap, and can be improvised. These teaching aids, for example, like the puppets, they are simple, cheap, and improvised. Like we can use a socks to make them. Use these buttons. You see, it's easy and it is available. And then they are accurate and realistic. Yes, they are accurate and realistic. It is not like you guess or what. Then they are meaningful and stand to serve a useful purpose. These teaching aids, when you bring them to class, they serve their purpose of them being there. Yes. We go to our next. Now we are going to deal with these puppets. Puppets are objects often resembling a human, an animal, or any mythical figure that is animated or manipulated by a person called puppeteer. A puppeteer is someone who controls these puppets or makes them. And then we go to the types of puppets. In our case, we are going to look about 6 of these puppets that are common. Like we have the finger puppet. This is a tiny puppet that fits a single finger. In this one, you just make a very tiny one that fits any of the fingers, and then the puppeteer will manipulate it. Yes, and then we have the common one, that is the hand or sock puppet, formed and operated by inserting a hand inside the sock, causing movements of the puppet's mouth. When you make this, you stretch your fingers so that the puppet will be seen as if it is talking. Yeah. And then we have the shadow puppet. This one is cut out figure held between a source of light and a translucent light. I think that one is self-explanatory. And then we have the rod and arm puppet. This one is constructed around a central rod secured to the head. This one you just use a rod and arm and your own arm. And then we have the marionettes. This one is a type of complicated puppet because it is suspended and controlled by a number of strings connected to the head, back, and the limbs. This one is a bit complicated. And then we have the ventriloquist puppet. This one is a human shaped, operated by a ventriloquist who produces the puppet's voice with little or no mouth movement. Yes. And then we go to we are at the last part of our lesson. We have the advantages and disadvantages. As we all know that in every situation there must be an advantage or a disadvantage. For these puppets, we see they are attractive, yes. They are large, yes, but they also have their own disadvantages. Okay, let's look at the advantages. 1, it encourages learners to improve their motor skills and creativity. Yeah, when you have, as for example, when you see the finger puppet, the hand sock puppet, you as a learner, you will go, maybe you have seen it, yeah, you say maybe this one is, you go and create your own, and then it helps them act out everyday scenarios. Yeah, maybe the ventriloquist, as he maybe speaks like the puppet, the learner will go and act different scenarios using maybe their own created puppets, and then it gets young learners' attention during learning. Yeah, for example, maybe like the pre-primary learners, this one gets their attention because they are attractive, they are funny. Yeah. Now let's look at the disadvantages. The size of the puppet is limited. For example, like the finger puppet, it only fits the finger. Yeah, and it can't be used anywhere else. And then most hand puppets have no legs. For example, like the sock puppet, it has no legs. It uses the hand as the support. And then gestures are not as lifelike as those of other puppets. Like for example, when you use the marionette, it is the one that is suspended up there, so the gestures are not lifelike. Like for example, a bit, the hand puppet is a bit gesture like. Yeah, thank you. That is the end of our lesson.